welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name's Rita, and today is the second episode of this little interior design series I've started on my channel, and I wanted to basically take you through all the projects and everything I've done over the last 3 months of uni, which was from kind of around the 14th of September, which is when we started back from summer, until about the 17th of December, which is when we kind of finished uni for Christmas. So over the last kind of 3 months, I've had 3 different classes. The first class was the minor project class, which is basically, it is as it sounds. It's just like smaller projects in 4th year. And then we've got the major class, which is like the main big project, and then we had a design research portfolio class as well, that's like kind of the writing class, and that is basically a dissertation, but we kind of did it a little bit differently, but I'll talk you through that once we get to that kind of like subject. But let's just start with the minor project, because that was kind of the one class that we managed to complete 2 full projects. So for the minor projects, we managed to complete 2 full projects, as I said. I worked in a team with a girl from my course, and we basically got given 2 different briefs, which were taken from the Bee Breeders competition website. And the first one, the whole class did the same project, and for the second one we could pick between 3. So I'll just put some pictures up on the screen. The first one was the Pavilion of Humanity, which was basically a project which we had to design a pavilion anywhere in the world we would like, and it had to show what kind of like humanity is and kind of like the most successful things that humans have created in the world. And basically we decided to showcase festivals and carnivals and how because like we kind of believed they were like where people were most happy and successful and just enjoyed themselves the most, basically. So this is the building we ended up creating. So one thing I didn't actually mention is these competitions are focusing on architecture, and we do interior and spatial design. So we kind of had to like think about things a little bit differently and actually create a building and then do interior. But we basically came up with this idea where our building was half underground, half overground, and we decided to locate that on the kind of like center point of the earth at coordinate 00000. And the whole idea was that, you know, if in 100,000 years you know, like all the icebergs melt and everything, the building would be able to kind of like separate from the bottom and the top layer, so that way aliens could potentially find it. Anyway, it was, yeah, all these like kind of projects always have like a big backstory, but so that was kind of like a really fun project. That was our first kind of full-on project that we did as part of the competition series. And then the second project we got to pick, and we decided to pick these Cambodian hideout huts, which were basically for a real client, not for us, but whoever wins the actual Bee Breeder competition, they actually get made. So that was kind of like fun to read into and to read about the clients. As I said, it was in Cambodia, and we decided to create these little huts which you can kind of move around, so like all the walls could move, and it was basically to do with the stupa, which is kind of like a big part of the Buddhist culture, and it basically showcases the path, Buddha's path to enlightenment. And that kind of like inspired us to create our own little like hut, which you can like move, and each area is like, it's got like a meditation area, and that's like to do with like wind and fire, and then there's areas with like water. So that was kind of like, I'll just put a picture on the screen here now, how we decided to come about this project, which was so much fun to do. And we decided to go with kind of like really natural materials, and the whole concept of how that architecture actually looked was to redesign the Cambodian architecture and use all the kind of like layering you see within certain buildings within Cambodian architecture and layering of kind of like materials. So that's how we incorporated that into our project. So that was our like second and final minor project, and we, the girl who I worked with, Iona, and I were very happy with kind of like the feedback we got, and we're expected to get our results for that on the 8th of February, so there's still a little bit of time to go. And then that was kind of like minor project done. Then we were also, whilst that was going on, we were working on our major project, which is kind of like the most important project in final 4th year, and every kind of design class do a major project. So we do one, product design do one, graphic design do one, obviously a little bit differently, but our one, for this like 3 months we had to work on 30% of our work, and that included designing a design manifesto and also coming up with a concept and design scheme basically. So the first one, a manifesto, it was basically just, I actually could show you. So this was, I've got some paper taped to it, so just ignore the fact, like, this wasn't the front cover, this was the front cover. But this was kind of like the first trial of my design manifesto, and inside basically goes everything from like the host building information, photographs, the history of it, to like precedents, briefing information, like concept photography, lots and lots and lots of things, and all about kind of like research. So for my major project, I have decided to do it on beekeeping and kind of like how beekeeping and nature can be incorporated within the urban environment, and how like there's a positive cohabitation between bees and humans in a place in London. And the building, my host building, which I've decided on, is the St Dunstan in the East, which is an old church ruin, and it's currently a public garden, so I thought that would be an interesting place to do it. And I'm designing a cafe which turns into a cinema during the evening, and everything within the cafe is served with honey, and the honey is kind of like farmed on site. But whilst I was researching for my design manifesto, I realised that actually there was this like article that came out in 2020 from the Botanic Gardens in London, and they basically said that there's too many bees in London already, like in the city centre, but there's not enough like plants to sustain these bees. So the whole idea, in a way to like incorporate like what's the word, to like connect people with the space and like let them interact with the space, is by giving them sort of like seed bombs and things that they can actually use to increase the amount of plants in London. So that's kind of like my topic, and that's what I was doing my concept, my design manifesto on, and basically researching all about that. This is kind of potentially the new front cover, because that wasn't the final, this front cover wasn't the final, that was kind of like a draft copy, but I will actually put the front cover on the screen, like the actual PNG, because you probably can't see very well. And then for the design scheme, we had to design basically a scheme design in our building, which was, you know, had floors, ceiling, concept, and that was so much fun to do, because we could actually like start being really creative with it. Some people, you know, went really organic, some people went very geometric. I kind of like went a little bit of both. Inside it's quite, you know, like straight lines, and one of like the kind of things that I decided to do within my building was to use the layering and materiality to basically showcase the connection between nature and like the urban environment. So a lot of the structure within my building is very like London industrial beams, you know, like very kind of like robust, but the actual furnishing and finishes are very like natural, like woods and soft tones. So that's kind of like, again, as I said, to show the similarities and how they can like connect in an urban environment. So that's kind of like major project, and that was 30% of my grade. And in 2 weeks, so in a week from yesterday, we present a like rehearsal of that on like big boards, but we have to do it on Zoom now because we're in lockdown. And then a week from then, we have an external examiner coming into our Zoom, and we basically have to present it again with all our final things, and then that's going to be our final grade. So that was major project. And then what else there? The design research portfolio. So that was essentially our dissertation, and that was also due before Christmas, and we had to basically write, I think it was 8,000 words plus or minus 10%, and we had to design it. And basically the first part was like design contextualization, the second part, so that's like literature review, the second part was like design research, which we actually had to like make something, and then the last part was analysis, so we had to analyze the literature review compared to what we've like researched ourselves in like our primary research, and then analyze it all at the end. So that was really fun to do. I kind of like experimented with like materiality and engaging the population. It was so much fun, but that was a lot of work. So yeah, so that was submitted. I'll just like put some pictures up on the screen now to kind of like show you what we did with that. But yeah, that was basically everything I did in my last 3 months, and looking back on it, I actually can't believe we managed to do that much work in 4 months. No, 3 months. Like, it's so much work. 3 full-on classes. So apparently now this semester it's meant to be more chilled, so we'll see. But we have like 2 classes, and one of them is 70% of our major project, and then one of them is like, I think it's in design for professional practice or something like that. But yeah, that's all that we did, and it was a lot, and it was very stressful, but it was good because we got some good feedback, some A's, which is good. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this little video. I've really liked sharing kind of like what I'm doing, and I hope you enjoyed watching. And yeah, I'm basically going to be back on here on Monday with a new lifestyle video, and I will see you for another design series next Thursday. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and I shall see you very, very soon. Bye!